What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, the Tech Teacher, and we are back for another product review today. We're going to be taking a look at my Logitech G923 steering wheel. I'm going to have to take a look at these numbers. This shit is getting crazy with all these different model numbers. G923, G502, light speed, all types of stuff. But this here is the newest flagship model for their steering wheels, if I'm not mistaken. It came out about, I think, a little bit over a year ago or something like that, and I've had it for about 4 or 5 months now, using it for a couple of different games. I mainly play Forza Horizon 4 on it. I play a lot of that on there, and I played Dirt on my VR. It's okay with the VR. It's just they definitely have a lot of growing to do with VR sim racing, but as far as the normal games like Forza Horizon 4, I think it's a super addictive hobby to get into. Even like if you're not super into racing, I find myself not even racing a bunch on that game specifically because it's more of an open world game. I'll just be driving around a lot, and with it being the sim racing kit, not necessarily like an arcade steering wheel that has the force feedback and all that, so it drives like the actual car, and it's just super fun, guys. So I'm gonna take a look around the box so we're getting a better understanding of some of the features that come with this steering wheel, and I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of gameplay of me on the steering wheel playing on the PC to actually show you how it's running. Down in the description below, I'm going to have all the specs for my PC, just in case you're interested in stuff like that, to kind of compare how your PC might run with the game, with the wheel, and with the settings. I'm pretty sure I have all my settings maxed out on the on Forza Horizon 4. And I want to say it's around 120 frames or something like that. But regardless, we're going to take a look at all that in just a second. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the box and then get into the gameplay. Alright guys, we're going to start with the front of the box. There's not a whole bunch going on, just the picture of the actual wheel and the pedal system that comes with it. It's a really nice pedal system. It's actual metal on the plates, and they have like these like spikes on the bottom that you can flip in or out depending on if you are gaming on the carpet like I am. Actually, I can show you really quick. Have it right underneath here. So this is the pedal system here. Got the clutch, the brake, and the gas, and underneath here are those spikes that I was telling you guys about. Right here, you can push them in, or you can pull this little thing and have them flick back out. And what they do is they catch the bottom of the carpet, so that when you press on the brakes, it's not actually just slipping and sliding around on you. It's actually catching on the actual brakes. And actually, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the actual steering wheel I have set up right here. I keep it off to the side of where I actually where I'm actually gaming at for the most part. And then I can just use these little levers back here. And they clamp underneath my desk right here. So when I twist the lever, it just releases the clamp, and I can just pop it out, slide it over, push that thing down. I keep my wires just run through a hole I keep under my desk with my one-handed gaming keyboard, so I can always keep it in reach. Eventually, I'm going to set up a racing rig for this thing so that I can get it off my desk, and it'll be just a little bit more immersive, like I'm actually climbing into a car instead of just sitting at my desk on a monitor. But for the average person, the desk monitor setup is more than good enough, especially if you have a big enough desk to keep your wheel set up like I do and just push it off to the side whenever you're not using it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other sides of this box really quickly. See, on this side, it just lists all of the different components. I almost always forget that this thing has the rev lights, because even when I drive in manual mode on Forza, my rev lights pretty much never pop up on the actual steering wheel, and I haven't figured out how to fix it on Forza yet. And so yeah, it just has all of the different things in different languages that it comes with. And another thing that I also wanted to point out with this wheel is I tried playing Forza 7, and although it says that it's supported on Logitech's website, there's no actual wheel setting for the wheel inside of the game. Like, you have to go through and set up all the different settings, so it's a completely different feel as opposed to if it was actually built into the game for that wheel. But for the predecessor, like the G923, it is actually built into the game for that wheel. So just keep that in mind. If you wanted to play Forza 7, it might be a little bit of a hassle to actually play it. Now, this is just the back of the box. It shows just a couple of the different features that it comes with. You know, the True Force, the dual clutch on the back of the wheels. Just bragging on the specs a little bit. And just a couple of customization things as well. And another decent picture of the unit itself. And on the final side, just goes a little bit more in depth as to what the True Force actually can do. Over there and over here in all of the different languages. And then it just kind of markets its own software, lets you know if you want to download the software to get the full experience of it. Alright guys, so now we're just going to go ahead and swing over to the desk, and we're going to take a look at a little bit of gameplay on Forza 7, and I'm also going to hop into the Dirt 2.0 and show you guys what it's like gaming in sim racing, in VR as well. Alright guys, we're loaded up into Forza Horizon 4, and to start off, I'm going to go ahead and take you into the settings just to show you what my graphical video settings are. I am running on a 1080p Full HD monitor, 27-inch and curved, and these are just kind of the more technical settings here. And these are all my resolutions. I have every single thing maxed out. In the menu right now, I'm getting around 170, but that's just the menu. So now that we've looked at that, let's go ahead and hop into the actual gameplay. There we go. I'm having a little bit of stuttering just because I'm recording myself through the webcam and through this. And if I'm keeping it honest, I'm not the greatest at this yet, because it is sim racing and these are supercars. Like, I'm barely touching the pedal and I'm already going almost 200 miles per hour. And you can also, oops, wrong button, flip through the different views. Personally, I like this one because it feels more like I'm actually in the car. This is more or less what I'm paying attention to for the most part. I feel like I have a little bit more control. let's open up the map and actually set the destination somewhere, just to kind of show you guys what the navigation system is like as well, because I think it's one of the, oh my goodness, this truck just doesn't care. Just doesn't care, just ended me. But anyway, back to the task at hand. I think this is one of the better features of the game, especially with it being an open world. You can kind of get used to what the racing lines are, although I hardly ever follow these things if I'm being 100% honest, and it gives you a pretty good gauge on if you're going to be able to handle the turn at your current speed or not. If it's yellow, then it means that you can handle it through a drift if you're like super accurate. But if it's red, it means that you're going to lose control pretty much no matter what. So just knowing that, oh my goodness. But anyway, knowing that these lines here are consistently blue, I felt a lot more comfortable going over 200 miles per hour, because you can kind of see any turns coming up in advance, especially if they're red. And I'm getting decent at drifting, but not great at it yet. But as you can see, it's really easy to lose a bunch of time playing this thing. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, and I'm going to hop into Dirt 2.0, and I'm going to try to show you guys what it's like to do this. Not this exact thing, because it doesn't look anywhere near as good, and the open world isn't as big, but more or less you could drive in VR if you have a VR headset. We've taken looks in the past at the Oculus Quest 2 that I have in the game room sitting over to the side. And I recently grabbed the link cable for it. I was using the Air Link before, but the link cable was just so much more superior in terms of quality, especially with me playing like music-based games like Beat Saber and things like that. It just wasn't, it was, oh goodness. It just was a no-go with the Air Link. The latency was just too much. And I'm going to have a video coming up with a comparison between the two, Air Link and the link cable, pretty soon, just so that you guys can, make educated choices when purchasing your tech. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop over into the Dirt 2.0 and take a look at sim racing in VR. Alright guys, while we're already at the desktop, I just wanted to take a quick look at the Logitech software. I'm pretty sure we've looked at this before when I reviewed the keyboard at the very least. But of course it's going to pull up all of your Logitech gear that you have plugged in at the time. But we're interested in the steering wheel. There isn't a whole bunch to do here. Honestly, I think I might have opened it once since I've gotten it, because everything pretty much comes how it needs to come for it to work, especially on the PC, with this being an Xbox steering wheel and then both being owned by Microsoft. Everything pretty much just works. But if you did for some reason want to set up different commands or keys, actions for Overwolf, Discord, or OBS, macros, or even system functions, you can map those to the few different buttons that you have here. But in all honesty, you probably won't really need to come here to do much of anything. You can also go here and kind of check and make sure that your steering wheel is actuating at the point that it's supposed to be. So kind of test the steering and whatnot, and set some of these different settings if you did want to adjust how your steering wheel functions. And you can also change the sensitivity. Like, I know a lot of people complain about how stiff the brake is, so you can turn up the sensitivity so you don't have to press it quite as hard. Same with the accelerator, of course, and the clutch. You can also switch to combined pedals, which brings the gas and the brake pretty much like into the same realm. It's really confusing. I don't like using it. But that's pretty much all that you have for the software. Alright guys, I tried setting up the steering wheel to work with the VR, but it was a big hassle with the footage, and it just was it wasn't worth really going through all that to maybe get it to show up the correct way on the video. And honestly, if you're looking into this wheel, you're probably not looking to play in VR anyway, just because they have a long way to go as far as simulation racing goes in VR. At least from my experience, the things that I've played, it's a lot more immersive, a lot better experience if you're using a desktop game like the Forza game that we showed off a little bit earlier, or even if you decide to play Forza 7 with this wheel, it's possible. It just requires a little bit more jumping through hoops to get everything set up, and it's going to be a slightly degraded experience from as opposed to excuse me, as opposed to if the game actually had the steering wheels like force feedback and all that stuff built into it, then it would definitely perform a lot better than you having to go through and set like using the steer axis to steer and all that stuff. But as other than pretty much that one game, this is an excellent steering wheel. And if you're looking to get into sim racing, I think that this is an excellent at least option that you want to consider when looking at the wide scope of steering wheels. I know there's a bunch of different ones out there, and the G923 by Logitech as well is a pretty close contender in terms of the features, product features between that one and this one. They're pretty close as to what each one of them do and how they perform with the force feedback and everything in between there. So guys, that pretty much does it for us. If you did learn anything or like the video in general, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe down below. It really helps out the channel more than you know. And also, if you have any idea for any videos that you may want to see in the future, go ahead and comment that down below as well, because I'm always looking for new things to bring to the channel, and the channel is really about you guys. I only try to make what you're interested in, so just go ahead and let me know. So guys, as always, thank you and have a good day.